Hey everybody, welcome back to another Dead by Daylight video. So we talked about the other two Alan Wake perks, so I figured why not just talk about the last one. I really didn't want to talk about Deadline because it's a perk I think is fine. I can't really think of many changes, but, you know, consistency and all that. So for those who don't know what Deadline does, it increases the odds of a skill check triggering by 10% or repairing or healing. It also causes skill checks to go into random places, and it decreases the penalty of missed skill checks by 50%. Overall, it's just a good perk when you're injured. Like it's it. Like it only activates when you're injured. I think it's something that a lot of people are forgetting. But it's just overall a good perk. It's great for autodidact. It's great for hyper focused stakeout. It's just overall good. If I had one change I would make to it, honestly, I would really maybe get rid of the random skill check places. But even then, I think it's fine. If you're running this thing like stakeout, that doesn't even really matter as long as you're paying enough attention. And even then, they're not like in wildly different places. For the most part, they're still basically in the center of the screen. It's not like some of the doctor ones where like they show up and go in reverse or like show up underneath of your cursor or anything like that. But yeah, but I think what I'm going to talk about more instead of Deadline, because I think Deadline is fine personally. I do want to talk about Alan Wake's perks overall. Now that we've gone over all three. And how I think Behavior kind of played it safe with these, but I do appreciate that all of them seem thematically appropriate to a degree. I think Champion of Light, obviously there had to be a flashlight perk. I said this before when Alan Wake was revealed, that if at least one of the perks wasn't a flashlight perk, I was going to fucking riot, because that's like the main mechanic of his game is flashlights. Deadline makes sense not only because of the whole writing thing and being a novelist, but also because of the whole he's on a time limit where he is. He's trying to get out as fast as he can, as best as he can. So that makes perfect sense. And it being skill checks is kind of cool. And this is a stretch, like a massive stretch, but it has, you know, it's kind of like typing on a typewriter, you know? And I think it makes sense to that. And then Boon Illumination, while probably the least thematic of the three, still makes sense to a degree. He's opening his mind to seeing like other worlds. So I think it works in that sense. And I've talked about this before. I think Behavior nailed Alan Wake as far as the character itself, the lore behind why he's in Dead by Daylight, and the skill and the perks in general. I think overall this chapter is very coherent. And it's something I think we've been kind of missing from a lot of chapters. I have said multiple times that I'm not a big fan of how a lot of perks seem to come out oddly randomly for characters. Like, I still don't understand why Gabe has Made for This. This isn't me shitting on Made for This or anything. I'm just saying, like, it makes no sense to him as a character. I just don't get it. Or like Xenomorph's perks, like the Ultimate Weapon, like, the name makes sense, but what it does really doesn't. Like, I don't know. Or Alien Instincts is another one on Xeno that, like, makes no sense to me at all. Like, I kind of get it. Going for the weak one, I suppose, is what the weak one that's probably far away from everybody. I guess that's what they're going for. But I'm hoping that as time goes on, Behavior is starting to get better at making thematically appropriate perks. I think Chucky's were great, thematically speaking. This isn't me even talking about balance or anything like that. I'm specifically saying these perks make sense for the characters, and I understand why they exist. Right? I think we've had a bad habit sometimes of just adding in perks that kind of make sense if you squint your eyes a little bit. But yeah, I think all of Alan Wake's perks are good. Overall, though, while we're on the last of Alan's perks, if I was to rate all of them, I would say Deadline is probably A tier. I would maybe put Champion of Light in C tier. However, I would call it one of the most fun perks they've ever released. I love Champion of Light. I do so many dumb plays just because of what this perk lets you do. Sometimes, a lot of times I fail, but I can still do the plays, and that's what's fun about it. And Boon Illumination, once again, I think it needs a buff. I think it's probably the worst of the three. And I've had some discussions about whether it's showing totems would be OP or not. I still don't think it would, because to me, it's the equivalent of someone bringing a map into the game. but no one really complains about that. It's like, well, people don't bring maps. Yeah, that's because there's stronger options. And if Boon Illumination showed totem locations, I can guarantee you there are still stronger options to bring than an aura reading perk to find totems. It's just a me thing, though. I'm sure some people disagree with it. But yeah, we talked about Deadline for a total of like a minute in this 5-minute video. Let me know what you guys think of it. I think it's great. I think it opens the door to autodidact being better, which I think is always a good thing. There's a perk that I've always wanted buffed, and I think this was a, quote, smart way to do it without directly buffing it. And I want to see more in the future, if I'm being honest. In any case, I love y'all. Have a good one. Links and stuff are below. I'll see y'all when y'all see y'all. Bye.